Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Well, it was the last game of the last round of the third annual Sinquefield Cup, the second leg of a three-leg series of tournaments called the Grand Chess Tour. Now, earlier in the day, Levin Aronian drew his game with Veselin Topalov to clinch first place. But as the games drew, one game remained. My buddy, Karl Nakamura, is white, and Alexander Grischuk is black. I like Alex a lot. Always have. They call him Sasha, I guess. Anyway, this is a hell of a game. And this is really worth a lot because Karl can pick up some Grand Chess Tour points. Whoever gets the most points at the end gets a pretty substantial bonus. I believe it's close to $100,000 plus what they already won. So this is the real deal. Anyway, I'm going to pick it up on move 17. Black just moved rook f to d8. It's Moscow Sicilian, in case you're wondering in the opening. Nakamura is white, Grischuk is black. Nakamura goes bishop g3. And you're going to see there's some really craziness goes on later. Knight d8. King to h2. And these are positions, even these guys don't know what to do. So I don't feel too bad. Rook to b8. Knight to e3. It's hard to formulate a plan. Knight to e5. Just begging to take the knight. But he doesn't, of course. Why trade your bishop for a knight? Especially in this part of the game. Knight to c6 for Grischuk. And the Karl goes knight to b3. They're just maneuvering around. Knight to e5. Knight d2. Knight c6. Knight. Doesn't seem like much. Let's continue on a little bit. I think that king to h1 was to get out of the X-ray of the queen, but I think it was a waiting move as well. Knight d5. f4. Here it comes. Starting the break now. Typical Karl. I don't think he's impatient. He just wants to go for it. Knight takes. Pawn takes. Bishop c6. I like f5, frankly. But knight to d1. It's an over-point advantage for black right now. g6. Bishop h2. Knight. Queen e3. Boy, oh boy, what to do, what to do. You really want to start busting open with g4. Push the knight off, but bishop g3. Okay. Karl's down a little bit on his heels. Bishop e7. King moves right out of the pin pawn here with a bishop. This pawn can't move. Rook e8. e5. Here we go. Is he going to take? Maybe, maybe not. Of course not. These grandmasters. Now, knight on g7. Maurice Ashley is doing the color, the commentary on the tournament with Jennifer Shahadi and Yasser Serwan. Calls a knight on g7 or g2 or b2 or b7 the dumb knight. It's in a bad spot. But it's got a really good square to go to here. g4, here he goes. He's cutting off that square for the knight. f5. Pawn takes in passant. Bishop takes. All right, we got some movement in the center here. Small advantage for black. You're going to see things are going to really start picking up here shortly. Knight to f2. Bishop h4. Now, typically, as Grischuk always does, he starts getting into time trouble. We're on move 36. It's 40 moves in 2 hours with no increment. And then on move 41, you receive an hour. And after that, from move 41, you receive a 30-second increment. Rook to e2. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Rook f8. Tiny advantage for white. Now, you're going to see here shortly, all hell's going to break loose. Bishop G3, Rook over, King H2. And I remember during the commentary, they were saying, well, you know, they're maneuvering around. It's probably going to draw. Let's see what happens. Let's go a few more moves here. Rook to D1. Like they're just maneuvering around here, ready to look for the draw. Nakamura doubles up on the D file. Queen D8. Now he goes H4. He's going for an attack. Rook. Rook. King. Rook B1. Queen takes A5. Now it's going to start heating up. Now comes H5. G takes F5. Now the computer shows this is dead even, but all hell's going to break loose. E takes, G takes, and this is where I think Grischuk buckles under the pressure. Granted, around move 48, he's got some of his time, but it's ticking away. Here goes Queen to D8, and just like that, it's a 2-point advantage for Nakamura. He goes F6. Now look what's going on here. Queen, Bishop, this rook can come over and up. I think Grischuk's in trouble. Now Rook takes F6 is the computer suggestion. And I agree. He goes Knight to E8. And here it comes. Bishop H4. Nakamura has him. And you can see him sitting in his chair. You can see he was excited. He was drinking water like crazy. This was his chance to get second place in the overall standings if they can win this game. I think it was a game both of them didn't care about, and all of a sudden, Nakamura cared. This is what happens sometimes in the last round. Rook to D7. Now Queen to G6. Look at this. It's closing in. This pawn is covering some serious squares. This bishop, this rook can come over. This queen's right on it. He's in trouble. In a lot of trouble. Rook to G8. Now this is where Nakamura stumbles. I think under the pressure around White's move 52 is coming up. You can analyze a lot of this, a lot of different variations, but I think the winning move, and the computer agrees, is Rook to G1. But Nakamura is just playing it safe. Time's starting to run out. Grischuk's getting really low on time as well. Grischuk at the end was just living off the increment of 30 seconds. He goes Rook to E1, a very human move. Very human move. And almost all of Nakamura's advantage is gone. If he had gone Rook to G1, Queen D7, Rook takes, King takes, Queen takes. And look at Black's King. He's doomed. Black's stuck. There's nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing. He's doomed. You want Rook to E1. And the only counterplay Black could come up with is D5. And he did. He saw it. Queen takes pawn. Now the game is back to being even again. Queen to D6. Rook to E5. Blocking with a rook instead. It's a toss-up. The computer likes Queen to E5 better. Rook to E5. Now D4. Now, the bishop comes alive for Black. This rook is pinned. And now, not going Rook to G1, here's the rook bearing down the White King. Look at the tables have turned, even though it's still White advantage, but Naka had it, he can tell. And he was just putting his hands through his head, and he could just tell he was visibly upset, because he's very, you see almost exactly, he wears his emotions on his sleeve when he's playing, and you can tell he's one of those guys. Magnus Carlsen's like that too. C takes. Queen takes. Now it's back dead even. But the time pressure. Time pressure for Grischuk. Rook to E7. Rook takes, pawn takes, queen to d6, check. Man, look at this crazy position. And Nakamura is everywhere. He's jumpy. He's excited. I mean, you get like that sometimes. I do want to mention there's going to be a short video at the end that interviews the winner. And also a short video at the very end of the game. It's very dramatic. Down to seconds for Grischuk. King to h3. Okay, Nakamura finds that. Bishop checks. Bishop f5. The worm's starting to turn. And Grischuk is basically playing an increment. And this is where Grischuk stumbles. And it's really sad. Because it's a natural move. A very natural move, I might add. And in time pressure, you would make this move in a second. Queen to d3 check. Beautiful move. Bishop can't take because it's pinned against the bishop. He should have went h6. Then after bishop takes, queen f5, queen d6. It's scary as hell, but maybe black can survive. But after queen to d3, he blocks with the rook. And black is now doomed. Bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. What's black going to do now? King g7. He's trying desperately, but it's really over. Almost a 4-point advantage now for Nakamura. Bishop g3. Just methodically go through. Pawn. Bishop checks. King h7. I mean, poor Grischuk. And I like Sasha a lot. Rook checks. King g6. Rook f8. He's got to move the king back, because he can't take the rook because the pawn will recapture and queen. Now bishop f4. a5. Now bishop takes. King can't take because rook takes rook. And then the pawn queen's next move. Has to move again. Now the move that the computer really found they were talking about was bishop to c1. But he went e3. It comes out the same. a3. Bishop takes. Pawn. Bishop goes back to d4. That pawn's never going to make it, of course. Knight to c7. Bishop a1. Going to put the bishop somewhere. Must well put him in the corner. Knight to e8. c5. Here comes the other pawn. I think a more accurate move would have been king to h4 and then king to h5 to box in the king. Basically put Zugzwang him. Pawn. Knight c7. c6. Knight goes back. Black's just stymied. He's frozen. Now Naka gets the king up to h4. Knight c7. King h5. Knight goes back. I mean, what else can he do? And now c7. Can't take it. And that's where he resigns. It was a hell of a game. They were down to seconds at the end. You could just tell Naka was just a bundle of nerves. When the game broke open, he saw that he could win it. He missed that rook to g1. And he does say later in the interview, you're going to see at the end, he says rook to g1 was winning, right? So he saw it. But you get, I don't think he doubts his ability. But under that kind of pressure, you calculate and you calculate and you calculate and you calculate. And one little slip, and you're doomed. So I think they took the safer way, the more solid way. And you can't blame them for that. Give you an idea, what is black going to do here? Knight to g7? I mean, he can't do anything. Bishop takes. Queen, bishop takes, rook, you know, it's over. Of course, he wouldn't take it, it'd be a stalemate. Rook d5, you get the idea. It's over. Anyway, folks, that's a hell of a game. Hikaru Nakamura, and a hell of a game from Grischuk. I thought he found some really good moves under time pressure. He was literally down to seconds, living on the increment, like the last 15, 20 moves. You'll see a little piece of that at the end here. So that ends. And this was the only really exciting game in round 9. So congratulations to 11 Aronian, who won the second leg of the Grand Chess Tour. I'll show you the standings in the what I call the Grand Chess Tour points. They get points, and Nakamura is in second place. Well done by Nakamura. Nerves of steel. When you know you're winning and then you lose it, it's tough to re-gear. And he did it. And Grischuk folded under the pressure. So there you have it, folks. The last game of the last round, and a hell of a game it was. A fitting finish to the 3rd annual Sinquefield Cup, the second leg of the Grand Chess Tour. And as I always say, folks, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
With like very pure chess at the end.
Right.
Oh, so cool.
This is almost study-like. So
yeah.
A5 takes, A4, the bishop is going to come back, and, well, again, how do we actually set up an absolute Zugzwang on the board after, for example, knight d6? So now you've won one pawn.
Well, we probably want to go take a c5 as well, because then we'll have the c pawn, which is good.
That's exactly right. Bishop a3, and black can't
do anything.
Yeah, you can't take, because then we take on g8 and just make a queen. So
correct.
So yeah, you just got to let us take on c5, and then once we march with the c pawn, it's kaput.
Very, very nice.
So just one by one taking off these pawns.
Bang, bang, bang.
And this was the judgment that Grischuk was unable to make with so little time on the clock.
Well, I'm sure he felt that the moment the pawn came on e7 and the queens came off the board that he was lost. He just didn't see that move queen g7 at a crucial moment, because this was almost by force that they got into this losing ending. And we do have a move by Sasha, and that was
a5. A5 was played.
I think that was actually the main. And we're looking at bishop takes h6, a6, pardon me, a4, bishop back. And this is just really brutal. You want to be able to sacrifice your knight for that pawn. No, I don't. I'm trying to make rook g6 work in some crazy fashion, and rook to e6, but no, I don't think. Well, it just simply doesn't work. So again, let me just refresh my board for a moment.
So Levon Aronian
bishop takes h6
is the 2015 Sinquefield Cup champion with some beautiful games, but Nakamura really stealing the show with this particular round.
Stealing the round.
May I?
Yes, please.
May I jump in? There's another line here that's beautiful. Knight d6 in this position. Remember, we got the a3. Knight d6, bishop f4, chasing the knight back to e8. And now king h4, allowing a3. And now bishop e5, allowing a2. And king h5. Pure domination, no moves to make. That's it. Game over. Beautiful study-like position, showing the superiority of the bishop. Look at it. Guard against this pawn queening, attacking the rook. The king getting in on the act on h5. This looks like a Kasparian study, in fact. Just total, absolute domination.
Amazing, yeah. You know,
this is the stuff of nightmares, actually.
Well, yeah, if you don't love the bishops, and if you're still favoring the knights, this game will cure you of your
bishop e3,
your sickness.
Bishop e3, a3, bishop takes c5,
and a2 has been played, and now we're getting this
d4.
position Maurice was showing after bishop d4.
Well, no, he took the pawn, so he marred it a little bit by taking the pawn on c5.
But yeah, okay,
now
it's just queening the pawn instead of the pure
now
domination.
It's just a sledgehammer instead of like a fine finesse sword, just slicing you properly. This one is like boom, boom, hit him over the head. I got the c pawn as well. There's just no moves that make any sense now. I'm
beginning to worry that chess players may be sadists. I mean, this is terrible. This is really a fine finish by Hikaru, but wow, Sasha will be really kicking himself. I'll move.
Injin's giving king h4 to h5 as a winning plan, as black has to sit there and watch everything unfold.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Well, another thing, it's really sad, but if Hikaru plays c4, c5, for argument's sake, you can't even go down like this, hoping to kind of mess things up because there's a skewer in the position. There's a check, king, rook check, and I get the rook with my
and
rook.
Naka has just played bishop to a1.
He's just played bishop to a1. Same thing. There's no, oops, excuse me. There's no, you can't move your rook down the g file because, again, that skewer always picks up the rook. So you're almost forced to play knight back to e8. And then you're going to get that position with king h4, king h5 that Maurice was saying with an extra c-pawn.
Yeah, or just running the c-pawn first.
That's just a thriller. This was a thrilling game.
It has been.
Mistake-ridden as it was, it definitely was played at an amazing level and kept us
totally
riveted.
enthralled. Yes, absolutely.
Great game.
So.
Oh, this game was awesome. I mean, that was. I mean, obviously, it would be even more accurate with more time in the board. But wow, for game 10 or whatever that they were playing, this was super cool.
Although we still have to say that move, Rook G1, a fine player like Hikaru should have found that move. There was no reason to give Grischuk any
King H4, yes, Hikaru is actually doing something that I had expected Magnus to do against Hikaru. Before Magnus went for c4 in that game that was drawn, Hikaru is just improving his position to the maximum possible. Move the pawn to c6, move the king to h5, and then go rook f7, check, and win the game. So c4, knight c7, c6, knight e8. This is
fun now.
Well, fun, yes. But he just wants.
King G5 was better there. The move you said was much better.
Yeah, King
Don't
G5.
take that knight. That's boring.
Exactly. Well, but for Hikaru, this has just been an amazing tournament for him.
He can just move his bishop, but he's finding that king maneuver now. There it is. King to h5, knight c7.
Of course,
that is king to h4, knight c7, and now king h5 will be. That's
been up for a rook check. He's just played it. Knight e8, and I think Alexander Grischuk is not going to be sporting and allowing a checkmate, but I think he's going to allow that Hikaru
finale.
That really pretty one. Ooh, okay.
Oh, but if the guy takes the pawn on c7, then rook f7 check is even worse. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have a resignation. Gorgeous game by Nakamura and a great way to...
With the #1 player in the United States, one of the best players in the world, Hikaru Nakamura, who played a pretty boring game in the beginning. But then, Hikaru, you started pushing hard, going for the win. What made you decide you didn't want to repeat moves and just play this crazy position in this critical round?
I don't know. I mean, it's the end of the long term. I felt like I had to do something. I mean, I had the two bishops. Yeah, basically, you know, the opening I thought was boring. Then I think I was worse because I made a ridiculous miscalculation when I ended up with the double c-pawns. And I think I was worse, but when Alexander took my knight with his bishop on f2, once I got the two bishops, I thought I was much better, and then it wasn't so easy, and I'd go for this crazy line, which I think I had better than what I did in the game, but it seemed to work out.
Well, you know, we had the benefits of engines. You guys don't get to peek. So there were some crazy variations. It turned out the critical position was when you moved your rook off the D line, instead of playing h4 right away, you played this move. It seemed like h4, according to the engines, was a faster attack and would have worked, would have more so in your favor. Of course, a few moves later, you got back to it, and we had to say this craziness with the H-pawn pushing down the board. You finally did get a chance when he took your pawn. Sorry, before we go any further here, when he took your pawn, did you think this guy's crazy?
No, I didn't actually see a clear win, so I wasn't really sure what was going on, but it felt, intuitively it felt like the right continuation, so I just kind of went for it and worked out.
Wow, definitely.
Yeah, I didn't think it was clearly winning. I was very unsure what was happening, but it just felt like even though I gave up all the pawns with the two bishops, I should have enough compensation. But I didn't know if I was winning or not.
Well, the engines did say that instead of his move queen to e8, he should have played knight to e8 here. And after he played instead the move queen to e8.
Well, no, but knight e8, I go f6 anyway, I think.
Well, I'm just letting you know what the engines gave as equal. Queen
Okay, so
D8.
it wasn't winning. Okay.
Right,
No,
but-
I mean I was very unsure, but kind of, we're getting low on time. I don't know. It's always fun to play blitz with Sasha. So
This is exactly what we were saying. Now in this position, the game went crazy.
yeah, but Rook G1's probably winning.
Rook
right?
G1 was just completely finished. You would have been here a long time ago chatting with us. Instead, you play this move, Rook E1, allow this wild move, D5. And we saw you hesitate for quite a while here. Were you starting to realize that you didn't have control like you thought you did over the position?
Kind of. I mean, the thing is, there were two things. First, I wanted to go Rook E6. That was number one. And then, I wanted to go Rook E6 here, but I think after, what was it, something like some Queen C7 or something, or even Rook G4 maybe, it's very unclear, and I wasn't sure. So, that's why I played Queen H5. But
the mindset was what? Were you thinking, I just got to calm this down?
No, I win or I lose, basically. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, there was no mindset. It's kind of, I just took a shot. We were both low on time, and it worked out. But I think Sasha misplayed it, because I think around like move, he misplayed it. He took the rook on E7. He wasn't supposed to do that, I don't think. I thought he could have played the way he played in the game, but left the rook on E7 and F7. And I think it makes a difference, because at the end, I think he can go some Queen D1 or something.
All right, let's take a look at this line. Actually, I mean, you are in complete blitz mode, so we don't expect total clarity here. Actually, the engines give the variation rook takes on E7 as best, and then Queen G7 as the right move.
Oh, whoa.
A bit bizarre. You're still perfectly fine.
Oh, dear,
here.
I didn't actually see this move.
Oh, man. Thank goodness that didn't appear on the board and be forced to think about
I could
this
probably
one.
play, what, Bishop G5 or
Yeah,
something?
that was exactly the move the engines give.
Yeah, okay, I didn't, oh, wow.
And then it's,
Yeah, I didn't see Queen G7 at all. I probably would have had a heart attack. But, I would have recovered, but yeah, that's... oh, yikes. Yeah. Oh, wow.
That would have been, again, still fine for you, of course, but that would have been a dangerous move.
No, I didn't see it,
Suddenly
though. I mean,
appeared.
it's hard... Oh, yeah, wow. But I think it was still unclear. But then Sasha went into this endgame. Once I found this nice little... This trick, as long as I don't let the king over, it's just a very nice technical win. So yeah.
That was very well played. So you ended up tied for second after all with this up and down tournament you had. You still managed to control everything. How are you feeling about the tournament overall and going into London?
Well, I didn't deserve +1, so I'm certainly happy with my result. Considering that I felt that I played pretty badly in maybe seven of the 9 games for the most part, six of 9 more or less, to end on +1.5 or 1 point out of first place. Sorry, doesn't feel so bad. And the fact that if I had not lost to Levon, I would have tied for first. It's hard not to be positive considering I did not play anywhere near my best chess, and I still had a good result.
That is definitely a statement to know that, at least. It seemed like everybody had some story at this tournament with his Magnus, the way he played. Probably the only person who played smoothly is Levon, or also Anish, who just made sure nothing happened to him. Played very solidly. What are your thoughts going into London? Is there any favorite or?
But at any rate, I've always done well in London, so I'm looking forward to going back again. I've been there for I think my last 7 or 8 birthdays now. The tournament always falls during my birthday, so it'll be nice going back. I know a lot of people there, and it's one of my favorite cities in the world. So I'm definitely gonna have a good time.
Your job here isn't done though. After all this craziness, there's still ultimate moves to play. I know you're thinking like, okay, that's the last thing on my mind, but are you prepared for the trash talking that's going to go on in Ultimate Moves with Randy and Rex?
I haven't even thought about it right now. I'm just going to go and relax. The last 2 games have probably taken a lot of years off my life because they've been very stressful. But all's well that ends well. So I'm looking forward to everything coming up, all the tournaments, of course, Ultimate Moves. Everything that Rex has done here is amazing. So having the chance to give back is certainly very important. And hopefully this event will continue for years to come.
Oh. Better words haven't been said. Thank you so much for thrilling us with your moves and your ideas and your bravado. Excellent chess from the year's champion. Okay, maybe not to your standards, but certainly from the viewers.
It's good enough.
Hikaru Nakamura. Wow, what can you say? This guy's a fighter and now in second place in the tournament, tied for second and second clear in the Grand Chess Tour standings.
Lynn with 17, Nakamura with 16, and yeah, it just will be really setting us up for a fantastic battles in London Chess Classic. Starts in December, and I really love the way we have a tournament in a tournament. It's going to be really something for the books, and there's plenty of time for you guys out there looking forward.
And here are the current standings after the second round of the Grand Chess Tour, the Sinquefield Cup. First place, Veselin Topalov with 17 points. Karl Nakamura, my buddy from the U.S., after that exciting last round game against Grischuk with 16. Levin Aronian right behind him with 15, and right behind him, Magnus Carlsen, current world champion. Right behind him, Anish Giri with 13, Anand with 12, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave with 10, Fabiano Caruana with 9, Alexander Grischuk with 8, and Wesley So with 1. If you remember, each leg of the tournament has one wild card, so Wesley only plays in this round only. So there you have it, folks. It's exciting stuff. London's going to determine the whole shot. Stay tuned.